the voice of it and the style of Resball, I wrote as close as possible to my authentic, like 16-year-old voice, or 16-year-olds that I know now. I didn't want it to be a dense read. I didn't want it to be a difficult read. I wanted it to be something that a kid could pick up who maybe hadn't been maybe a reluctant reader, if you will, and they could pick up and say, hey, this sounds like me and my friends. This is something me and my friends would do, and have that identity. And then have that, the other part of it, the flip side of it, is having that sense of like that aha moment where they can go, oh, I could write a book, or I could chase a dream that maybe I haven't seen a lot of other places, in Hollywood or in literature or in mainstream media, where I hadn't seen myself a lot. Here's an Ojibwe person who wrote a book. Maybe I could do something. I could write poetry. I could make music. And so it was really that opportunity to inspire some kids to say, you can do anything you want to do just because you're from a reservation, and because you don't know someone who has done it yet, now you kind of do. I felt like that was something I saw when I moved outside of the reservation and was going through my life, and I'd meet someone who was a lawyer, meet someone who was a doctor, or meet someone who worked in a financial institution. When I would connect the dots as to how did they get there versus me, because my 20s and early 30s, I was really struggling in a lot of ways. And so I was wondering about the world around me, and that was something I noticed, was someone who was a lawyer, someone in their family had done something similar. Someone who was a doctor, they had something like that in their family. And so for me, from the reservation, I didn't know an author, I didn't know a doctor or a lawyer or an astronaut. It was very blue collar and very in touch with our land and resources that we had. But if that wasn't your cup of tea, how could you see, a different version of you out there? So part of me writing Resball was also that external source of a kid who's similar to me, to go like, hey, maybe I could do something like that too. I had somebody come up to me, and I'll never forget this. They came up and they're holding Resball in their hand, and he was an African-American Ojibwe, and he said, that's one of the main characters in this book. He said, I never ever thought I would see me in a book. And I was like, and that was my whole point with a lot of what I was trying to do. And so, yeah, it was something where I was like, that was, you manifest sometimes these things, they seem a little far-fetched, but you're like, I'm going to try to make it happen. And then when it happens, and it was a wholesome reason and something that was meaningful. So yeah, I got to experience that. And I said to them a few times, like, it's not my book, it's our book. It's that whole, like I was saying earlier, that experience of like being part of a basketball team or having your fans and community. Even though my writing journey was lonely, I knew that this support network was waiting for me the whole time.
Right.